God, just please show me that you're there and that you love me and you're there for me. And all of a sudden, I could see angels.
We're standing here with Justin, and he has an incredible story that I just want you to hear too. It's about someone that is here that we can't see. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, sure. It has a little bit to do with my cousin. He's, I think, 7 or 8 years older than myself. And he himself actually suspects he might be on the autism spectrum. You have a spectrum from very severe to highly intelligent, and they're just maybe seen as quirky. So he'd be on that quirky end, maybe. Not even fully diagnosed, so it's nothing like that. He's a bit maybe simple, or he just lives at face value, but he's highly intelligent. There's no question about it. He's like a computer whiz and things. So yeah, going back a few years, I was at a convention for young people. It's called GYC, Generation of Youth for Christ. And at that convention, I hadn't talked to my cousin. We don't have good contact that often. But I ran into him on the street, not even in the convention, on the street. And I was, oh, hey, catching up and things like that. And I never thought another thing of it. Went home, years passed, right? So then I ended up visiting him at that time, a couple of years later. And we were talking about various things, spiritual things. And then he at some point got a little bit quiet, and then he decided to share something with me, and this is the amazing part that you were mentioning. He was like, Justin, do you remember when I saw you at the GYC convention? I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. And he's like, there has been 2 times in my life where I have seen angels. I said, really? And he said, he gave a little bit of background. He's like, I was at a low point in my life, and I was just pleading with God to make himself known to me. And he was just at an impasse or maybe a Y in the road. And he was saying, God, just please show me that you're there and that you love me and you're there for me. And all of a sudden, I could see angels. But he couldn't see evil angels. He was saying that he just could see people's guardian angels, or the ones that were with them. And he said then, because that was just so exciting, that he would in earnest pray for it more in the coming weeks. And then that second time was at this GYC convention. And so he had been praying during that convention to see that, because it is a spiritual thing with a lot of young people that are also spiritually minded. And he was just craving for that, that connection, I guess, with God. So pleading that he could see angels again, which he had been doing for some time now. But then God answered that prayer. And then I just, at some point, walked in to the picture while he was seeing the veil lifted in the supernatural world. I come in. I'm like, oh, hey. And I'm not noticing that he's having his own experience. I'm just being normal, right? And talking and yeah, like I said, I left without another thing. But he said, at that time, I saw your angel. And then he said something that has encouraged me many times, over and over, since then. He said, I don't know why or what it means, but Justin, your guardian angel is impressive. And like I said, it's encouraged me several times, because there's only 2 answers in my mind what that can mean. Either I'm so thick that God's like, I'm going to give you the best angel in heaven to try and win you and keep you from choosing the wrong path, or perhaps that I'm going to be very much used by God, and maybe, like, I don't know, in the last times, to be able to proclaim loudly the important messages of truth, and that I'm going to have persecution and something, and so I'm going to need a really impressive angel to protect me. So I try not to let it be pride that lifts me up and, I've got an impressive angel, but I'm like, oh, man, I need that much help. and it's just been an interesting experience.
Yeah,
So,
did he tell you anything about how your angel looked like?
So I, of course, was asking those types of questions.
Yeah.
But he didn't really give much of a description, except for he said every angel does have a weapon. He didn't tell me what my angel had, but they all have a weapon. They're not all necessarily the same. They're not like cookie cutter mold, like every angel looks exactly the same either. Some are in stature bigger or whatever, in appearance. But yeah, I didn't get much detail, and of course you could want to give every little detail, but I was trying not to let it lift me up in my own pride. And like I said, it's him sharing So if he wanted to tell me, he could. Or if he had a message from God for that time to encourage me, he would say it, rather than me trying to tell me something more and get excited about it.
Yeah, exactly. So why do you think that God showed him like an angel or showed your angel, but not that everyone gets to see like everyone's guardian angels? Do you have any thoughts
Right.
about that?
Yeah, definitely. I've had this conversation with my dad a couple times too.
Yeah.
God knows the heart. I don't. I'm a bad judge of character. And he might know, especially if he truly is on the spectrum. They don't understand social cues and other things as well as other individuals. So maybe they need something that's more frank, obvious, in your face, that evidence.
Yeah.
So
The God
it could
sees
be.
every individual, and he knows what he wants to try to save everyone.
Yeah.
So he knows what to use with some people, and some people go through maybe a really hard experience, and that's exactly what they need to be able to come to him and trust him. Like we have different things that God is guiding us with.
And in the Bible, like with doubting Thomas, there's that promise or that blessing that says, "Blessed are they that do not see, but yet still believe." Right? So I could have that argument where, like, "Oh, I want to see the angel too. Prove it to me." But it's like, but wouldn't it be even more blessed for you to not see and yet still have that faith and encourage someone else, like whoever's watching this testimony? You didn't get to see my angel, but I didn't either. But it still has been a big source of encouragement for me.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that
Of
with
course.
us.
You're welcome. Happy.
It was just so amazing, and I said to Melvin, like, babe, I think God just healed my back pain. I was just so happy. I was like, bending down and just testing out. Like I can bend down without pain, and